I am the president of the Homeowners Association, and I am telling you these tickets are completely unauthorized.
They are legally parked in a red zone, ma'am. They must be moved.
The first thing I saw that morning was a wall of bright orange tickets stuck under every wiper blade on my Cul De Sac, glowing in the cold air like warning flags. The grass was wet. I could smell damp asphalt and somebody's burnt coffee from down the street. My niece's birthday balloons were still tied to the mailbox. 15 cars. 15 guests. 15 tickets for illegal street parking at 9:00 a.m. on a Saturday when our HOA rules clearly allowed it. At the end of the street stood Karen from the HOA board, arms crossed, lips tight, watching my family walk out in shock like she'd just won something big. I walked over, holding 3 tickets in my hand. My sister's, my brother's, my own. I kept my voice even. "Karen, what is this?" She didn't blink. Violation of Section 12. No overnight guest parking. I told her the party ended at 10:30 p.m. last night. The tickets were written at 6:15 a.m. She smirked and said, "Rules are rules." This whole mess is why I now tell people, Karen ticketed my Cul De Sac guests 15 times, too bad I am the sheriff. She just didn't know the second half yet. I tried to do it the normal way first. I emailed the HOA board that same day, attaching photos of the empty street at night and a copy of the parking rules. I went to the next board meeting in the stuffy clubhouse, where the air always smelled like old carpet and bad coffee. I laid out my case. Karen looked bored, tapping her pen. One board member avoided my eyes. Another cleared his throat and said, "We support our enforcement officer." A couple of neighbors came in, but when I asked if they'd speak, they stared at the floor. Nobody wanted to cross Karen, the queen of complaints. I walked out of that room burning inside, but my face was calm. I knew one thing: she liked to play with rules. She had no idea I actually worked with laws. Sitting at my kitchen table that night, I drew a line on a yellow pad. This was my line in the sand. No more bullying my guests, my family, or anyone on this street. I promised myself I'd do everything by the book. No yelling. No threats. Just the proper channels. I started with what I knew from work. Patterns of false reports can be prosecuted. So I began digging. Every time a patrol car rolled past our street with no reason. Every time an officer told me, "Yeah, someone here called on a parked car, again." I wrote it down. Timeline item 1 April 5th at 4:27 a.m. false trespass call. Then April 12th. Then May 3rd, 2024. Noise complaint for a quiet backyard. I lined up photos, emails, and call logs in a binder. The more I found, the madder I got, and the calmer I looked. Because I am the county sheriff, I knew exactly where to check without crossing any lines. I requested the non-emergency call logs and incident reports for our little subdivision through the proper process, just like any citizen could. When records came back, the file landed with 63 pages. Almost every petty call traced back to one address. Karen's. Cars parked half an inch over the line. Kids riding scooters. A neighbor's lawn guy. My mom bringing over lasagna. I didn't touch the file as sheriff against Karen. I handed it to the city attorney and our internal affairs officer and said, "Take a look at this pattern of behavior from a single complainant in my neighborhood." I recused myself from any decision and put it in writing. I wanted this clean. The real twist came at the next open HOA meeting. Word had gotten around that the sheriff was mad, even though I hadn't raised my voice once. That night, the clubhouse was packed. Phones out. People pretending to check texts but already filming. Karen sat at the front table, wearing a blazer like this was a court hearing she would win. Halfway through the agenda, the door opened and in walked our city code inspector and a representative from the county attorney's office. My neighbors' heads turned like it was slow motion. The inspector started with a calm voice. "We've received multiple complaints, not about residents, but about misuse of HOA authority and repeated false reports to law enforcement." He set my binder on the table with a soft thud that sounded louder than a gavel. They began to read. Dates. Times. The stupid reasons. Karen shifted in her chair, cheeks going red. The inspector pointed at the parking rule sheet on the projector. He explained that our own bylaws allowed guest street parking until midnight and that no officer from the city or county had asked the HOA to ticket anyone on our street. Then the county rep read a note stating that repeated misuse of emergency and non-emergency lines could lead to fines and mandatory training. He also said, in front of everyone, that I had stayed out of the investigation and followed every rule. Then he asked Karen to explain why she had filed 37 complaints in 6 months about her own neighbors. You could feel the room lean in. Phones were up now, full on. My next-door neighbor whispered loud enough for people to hear. She thought she could ticket the sheriff's family and get away with it. A couple people snorted. Someone in the back actually clapped when the board president, finally sweating, announced that Karen was removed as enforcement officer effective immediately and suspended from the board pending a full vote. Karen tried to talk over him, but every word just made it worse. With the cameras rolling, the inspector calmly handed her a notice of fines for improper citations and a warning about future false reports. On the neighborhood app that night, the clip of her face when she realized she wasn't in control anymore had more comments than any post we'd ever had. Even people on the next street over were laughing. In the weeks after, things got quiet in the best way. No more random patrols creeping down our Cul De Sac because someone complained about a parked minivan. No more bright orange tickets at dawn. Karen kept her blinds closed, and for the first time, kids rode their bikes in front of her house without her storming outside. The board updated the parking policy in clear, simple words and sent a written apology for the wrongful tickets. They cut us a check for every fine, plus a small amount for inconvenience, about $300 total. We used it to throw a block cookout. Burgers, music, kids drawing chalk roads all over the safe, peaceful street. As the sun went down, one neighbor raised a soda can to me and said, "Glad the sheriff lives on our block." I just smiled and said, "Glad the rules finally work for everyone." Please follow for more HOA showdowns like this. Do you think she got what she deserves? Comment below.